Hey, you know, another thing that's been on my mind a lot lately is like really being intentional about how you design your life. Like so many things that come into our life and come into the like culture is really put upon us in the sense of like social media started and it was a thing that people generally liked. But then it kind of became this own monster of like almost feeling like a necessity. Like you have to have it and you have to be active on it, almost like a job. And even your phone, like down to your device, like you don't have to say yes to these things. And yes, it might mean that you might have to navigate the world in a different way, but you can say no. Being intentional about, not drinking alcohol, about being vegan, doing all these really specific things, I think have really led me further down this path because I already am not doing a lot of things that a lot of people do. Drinking being a really big one. It's like you don't realize how much almost everybody does this thing that's not contributing to your health. I mean, I can see all the reasons why people do it, but there's a million reasons not to, and I don't blame anyone. I don't like villainize people who do it, but also like I don't have to do that. But not making that change really helps me see how much people do it unconsciously. Like they don't even think about it, you know? And so much of life, especially today, because everything moves a little bit faster, there's technology, there's all these, things, you know? But it's so good to just be really intentional and also just sit down every once in a while and just think about who the fuck you are. Who are you? Who do you want to be? Sometimes I encounter people on the street and I think if they really saw what they were doing, they wouldn't like that they're doing it. Especially when I encounter like racism on the street. Like when I'm walking down the street and some white guy puts his hands in his pocket and like looks at me and like does all this stuff when he's walking past me, it's like, do you really want to be that person? But those things become so unconscious. And the thing is, I have compassion because I know the person that I used to be. I remember, like, especially now that I don't do a lot of those things, I remember the things I used to think sometimes. I remember assumptions I had about people. And how I am now is so vastly different that it's almost embarrassing to think back on. So I have compassion. I get it. It's like not even a blame thing. It's just a take a look at yourself thing. And I do my best to do it all the time. But it's just a really good thing to just remember. Who are you being? Who do you think other people are? Especially strangers, you don't know who they are. But we make these assumptions about them. How do you actually want your life to be? How do you want it to feel? Who are you? Outside of the algorithm that you're sort of like born into. Anyway, being intentional about that has been on my mind. And also, I was reading this book on neuroscience and it was talking a lot about how to make changes in your brain. And there are two basic ways that I remember this book talking about it. One way being repetition. So again and again and again and again, you create this mental circumstance in your mind or mental expectation over time, you'll start to your mind will believe that. And so you can make intentional change that way. And another way that the book talked about is through autosuggestion and self-hypnosis. It's like get in your head and literally hypnotize yourself, mind control yourself. Decide exactly how you are, who you think, how things go for you, how the world responds to you, how you think of the world, the type of things that you focus, and then hypnotize yourself into believing that. And you can, read into autosuggestion and self-hypnosis, because there are ways. Even there's a book called Joe Silva's Mind Control. And often when we think about mind control, you think about someone trying to control another person. But Joe Silva's mind control is about controlling your own mind. It's about getting in your own head, and when you're putting yourself in a hypnotic state, going inside, visualizing, picturing things. It's actually a really in-depth process with a lot of data to back it up, honestly. But now's as good a time as any to decide who you're going to be. And I'm not preaching. I'm doing the same thing each and every day. I wish the amount of energy I put into changing intentionally, I'm grateful for all the ways it's already paid off. I was a very completely different person when I was younger. So different in so many ways. So scared, so like nervous, so insecure. So many of you have seen me. Actually, so many people know me in such different ways. There's not like a clear one way. Some people know me just as for music. Some people know me just for like performance art. Some people know me just for theater. Some people don't know me for any kind of performance whatsoever. They just know me as a person. And for those of you who know me for performance specifically, to think that there was a time where I would almost vomit at the thought of standing up in front of a group of people, to being where I am now. And I'm not saying that to boast, I'm saying that to say change is possible. We can change ourselves. It might take a little while sometimes it doesn't. Is it worth it? I think so. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because that's what's on my mind, and I feel so grateful. I have to say it. I am so grateful. Like I mean this so wholeheartedly, for the changes that I've been able to make in myself, especially over the past 3 years. The past 2-3 years have been the most rewarding because some deep changes have been made. It wasn't pretty. It didn't feel good all the time. But now I feel so open and so free. And my expectation is so positive, empowered. And I'm just so grateful for that. So thank you, life. And if you're doing the same thing, congratulations. And I can't wait to meet the new you.